What is up, guys? JT Anime Nerd here, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. And this kind of came out of nowhere, but I have recently just seen with a friend episode 9 of the amazing digital circus, and I'm here to give you a bit of a quick critique I have on it. So there will be major spoilers here. If you don't want to be spoiled, click away right now. But I will start with the positives and saying that all in all, it was a nice finale. Okay, maybe that's the only positive I'm giving it right now. It was a good finale. My biggest issue is it felt more like a season finale than a series finale. But it really tries to emphasize on it being the last episode, mainly because of two things, and I wouldn't necessarily call all these spoilers, more like just confirmations that this is the end of the series, where at the very end of the movie, in one scene, Pomni walks by the camera, looks straight out of the screen, and waves goodbye to the audience. And I thought that was cute, but it was again meant to emphasize that this was the very last episode. And if that didn't hit the nail on the head, and at the very end, you see the live-action counterparts of the entire cast get on a bus and zoom away, leaving the bus stop empty, which is another emphasis on this is the series finale. And I have some thoughts on it, but I'd say my main gripe would be with, and now here comes the really major spoiler, Jax's abstraction. For starters, came out of nowhere. I mean, we expected him to abstract. He was going nuts. But the way they had him abstract is that, well, one, it was off screen and he just showed up abstracted in a transition without explanation. Heck, we don't even get to see the process of abstraction in this episode, which I was always curious about, because abstracting basically means you go nuts. But what exactly broke Jax at that moment? In the scene before that, we see Jax coming up to Pomni, looking like he wants to help, and then he's just like, nah, never mind. And then we get inner monologue of Pomni saying, I should have pried more. Because then in the next scene, he's already abstracted. Like, why couldn't we see an actual transformation scene? I don't understand. And then, and this really wigged me out a bit. It felt like they were building up to saving Jax, turning him back from abstraction, but then at the very last minute, they turn tail. I could literally feel that at the very moment, and Pomni got pulled out of Jax's abstracted body by her friends, which also baffles me because she went through a whole bunch of Jax's mindscape to get that far. How is it that her friends just reached in and pulled her out and they knew exactly where she was going to be? Now, we knew we'd see Pomni reconcile with Jax, and it made it feel so much like Pomni was the answer, possibly the answer to bringing everyone back from abstraction. And yet they didn't capitalize on that. That was the first time anyone's gotten so far with someone abstracting. It shows that they're still in there, which means Pomni could have done the exact same thing with the others. It felt like that was building up to all the others who are abstracted to come back. And yet they kept Jax abstracted. And in a way, I get why. They're trying to say not every story has a full happy ending. The ending was more bittersweet, but at the same time happy, because they were content with where they were, and they were gonna help each other as best as they can. And at the same time, ultimately, Pomni felt like she was being built up to be something special that the circus hadn't had before, and it felt like it pivoted on that as well. And then, of course, finally, out of the blue, Kane is alive, which I guess you can say if something's deleted, you could say it goes straight to the void. So but it was very unexplained. And along with that, Bubble kind of disappeared. We don't know why Bubble just disappeared, because it made it feel like he was a secondary villain, and kind of implied that the blue orb that Kane pulled out of himself, the second AI, was the root cause of his anger and resentment and hatred, and unable to be willing to understand everyone. But all in all, along with Jax, this episode ends with like this new beginning, like and a lot of stories do end like that, but it brought the series to a point that could have also added more to it, because now Kane is letting them create and do whatever they want. He's given them full control of the circus. And all in all, while this is a great finale, it feels more like a season finale than a series finale, which sucks because I know they're not going to touch this fandom again. But I really hope there is a chance for this to come back, because all in all, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Later.